Thanks for tuning into FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith here with your Wednesday, gosh, I don't even know what day it is, Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. Right now, 85 degrees, not too bad conditions. It's honestly not been too bad of a day. Not a lot of rain and a lot of clouds though, keeping us just a bit cooler. That's why we see 85 degrees, just a little bit gusty too at 10 miles per hour. You can see most of the rain confined to the south and eastern part of our viewing area. So we're not seeing any showers here in Tallahassee right now, but just a lot of cloud cover as we've seen for the last couple of hours. And you're going to see this is all due to a cold front, now a stalled out front that's been situated over our area. And it's going to slowly kind of stick around for the next couple of days, but bring us some solid relief for a little bit and then finally move out. Tonight, we're going to see our first bit of cold temperatures. 69 degrees is our forecasted low. And the cloud cover is sticking around and rain chances throughout the area. And then as we get through the next 3 days, we see rain chances a little more mild. Temperatures, again, also a little more mild. Same with our lows, seeing 86 degrees as the high for tomorrow. But to give us more of a look into how this cold front has been impacting us, Michael's going to look at the southeast.
Yeah, it's been a delightful day across a lot of the southeast. You can see a lot of us in the 80s, but it feels awesome in a lot of these places. 86 in Atlanta, 91 in Montgomery, 85 in Little Rock. But again, they're very comfortable temperatures, basically, if you're north of Florida and the Gulf Coast. Because of those dew points. The dew points, look at Atlanta and Charlotte. 53 dew point, and in Nashville, 48-degree dew point. That's more of a typical dew point in the fall, so it feels very comfortable outside if you're in these locations. Now down towards Florida, dew points more tropical in the 70s, pretty typical for this time of year. But you're still ahead of that cold front, now a stalled out front, unfortunately. Now Tallahassee might get some relief as we go into the overnight hours. Maybe it will drop the dew point a little bit, but not much relief compared to the rest of the locations in the southeast. And because of those low dew points, the heat indices across the interior locations of the southeast pretty close to your air temperature, exactly at your air temperature. But down towards Florida, a lot of these are rain-cooled, like in Orlando and Tampa and Jacksonville. But then the heat indices are much higher compared to your air temperature. You can also notice the cold front, now the stalled out front with the winds. The winds are northerly across a lot of the interior locations in the southeast. And then down towards central Florida, you notice the convergence of those winds. That's where the front is located at this moment. And that's where you see it on satellite and radar. The rest of the southeast is clear because you have that drier air over top of you guys. So it's feeling very nice out there. But then south of that boundary is where you have the rain and the thunderstorms and very unsettled weather. So when you look at the moisture values, notice how we have a lot of blue across the interior locations of the southeast. That's going to remain for the next 3 days before a little bit of moisture comes back towards the north as we go into the weekend. So those humidity values are going to increase a little bit as we go into the weekend, feel more summer-like than fall and spring-like in the interior locations of the southeast. So for the next 24 hours, that stalled out boundary just lingers around central Florida. As you can see, some dry air will try to get down towards Tallahassee tomorrow morning and into your Thursday. But a lot of shower activity, again, down towards Florida due to that boundary. The rest of the southeast is looking really good. There's a look at your tomorrow's forecast with another great day across the interior locations of southeast with some unsettled weather and those typical thunderstorms ahead of the boundary in Florida. Now let's send off to Dylan with the local forecast.
Thank you very much, Michael. And our current conditions not seeming too bad. Again, like most of the southeast, not too bad, but they saw better conditions than we're seeing the farther you go out west and north. 85 degrees again at 6:04. Not too bad. And comparing today to other days, our high slightly below average, about 5 degrees, and then our low a little above average, but again, not too bad. That's kind of due to that cloud cover keeping just a bit of the warmth in. So again, not too bad of a day. Better to be just slightly below average than above or at average. And our temperatures throughout much of the region, well, 76 in Perry. That's because they've been seeing a lot of rain, and that's really been confined to the coast, where you see a bit lower temperatures. Sumatra, well, they've not seen a lot of rain. They're at 90 degrees, still feeling just a tad bit hot. Not too bad, though. Dew points, though, we're not seeing the relief we're looking for. This cold front bringing relief to a lot of the southeast, but not bringing that deep, dry conditions that we're used to here. And so 73 degrees is our current dew point in Tallahassee, and again, moisture situated along the coast. And as we look at our heat indexes, we're still feeling just a bit hotter than it actually is outside, feeling like 92 degrees here in Tallahassee, even though we only have a temperature of 85. In Sumatra, feeling like 94. Down on the coast, though, a little more mild. We've got cooler temperatures, not too bad when you got the heat indexes. You can kind of see the northerly winds kind of blocking the sea breeze as we talk about all the time. See kind of this boundary right here where you got the southerlies bringing just a bit of moisture, the northerlies blocking it. So that's why we haven't seen a lot of rain, and that front just kind of situated off to the south and east, not really bringing the rain and not really bringing the dry conditions as it's not really passed through. So you see the rain there, and we do see that low pressure system that we're going to talk about in the Florida segment that is an tropical invest. And then we have this front kind of situated on our area, going to stick around just for the next couple of hours and days. And as we see for the next 24 hours, shower activity does die down as that daytime heating dies down. Cloud cover still prevalent, and then tomorrow seeing a bit more shower activity, but and again, not as usual as we see for the summertime conditions. We're not seeing afternoon spritzes, only a 30% chance of rain tomorrow, so not too bad. Tonight, seeing that first bit of cold. Question mark? I don't know who you ask. 69 degrees to some folks is not that cold, but a bit of a relief here in Tallahassee. Getting down to 65 in Bainbridge, but still some lingering showers are possible. And for tomorrow's forecast, seeing clouds sticking around, but again, not too widespread rain conditions. Only seeing rain really along the coast in Perry, Carabel, and Apalachicola. But again, more mild at 88 degrees. For your 7-day forecast, seeing only a 30% chance of rain. That's 69-degree low. Rain chances not picking up drastically into the weekend, only about 40%, which isn't too bad. And as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, dropping back down to 30% chance of rain, but just a bit of heat returns. Now let's give it over to Michael, who's going to see how the rest of the nation, other than the Southeast, is feeling.
Well, a lot of the nation is really enjoying a mid-July treat, as we'll call it. It's very glorious across a lot of the nation here. You can notice how a lot of us are in the 80s and upper 70s in the eastern two-thirds of the nation, but it feels very nice outside with those low dew points you're going to see in just a few seconds. So 81 in Louisville, 85 in Memphis, 83 in Minneapolis, and then a little bit of a 90s down towards San Antonio. They're at 90 degrees. But look at these dew points. Very awesome for July standards. A lot of them are in the 40s and 50s and low 60s at dew point. That's very comfortable air you can enjoy, not air that you dread, in a sense. So the air that you dread is down in towards Florida, where it's in the 70s, very tropical air mass ahead of that stalled out boundary, and then out towards the west, pretty dry values, but we have high pressure building off towards the west. So that's going to lead to some heat as we go into the later part of the work week. So with the winds, the reason why we have all that dry air, winds are coming from the north out of Canada. That's bringing that drier, more comfortable air. And then down towards Florida, you notice ahead of that boundary, you have those southwesterly winds coming off the Gulf and the Atlantic. So that's really causing the high humidity values still across central, south, and basically all of Florida. You can see the sold out boundary in north central Florida, basically around Cross City and Jacksonville. A lot of rain showers and thunderstorms ahead of that. But the rest of the country east of the Rockies is dominated by high pressure, and that's going to be the main story for the rest of the work week before some slight changes do arrive as we go into the weekend. We also have high pressure off towards the Intermountain West, and that's going to cause some pretty high heat values as we go into the next few days. Now, as we go into today and into tomorrow, we're going to be watching the northern plains for a severe weather risk. We do have a frontal boundary over there. That's the next storm system going to move across the northern part of the country. No severe alerts right now, but this could change. Actually, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning down towards Rapid City, but we'll expect this coverage to increase as we go into the next few hours, and then it should die down a little bit into the overnight hours. Down towards the southwest, we have the typical monsoon getting into gear. You can see some flash flood warnings in red down towards just south of Las Vegas, and then we have some flash flood warnings down towards the Inland Empire in just inland of San Diego. Out towards the northeast, we do have some scattered showers in central and western Pennsylvania. These should die off as we go into the overnight hours with the loss of that daytime heating. So for the next 24 hours, a majority of the country east of the Rockies is going to feel very nice, still in that lower humidity. You can start to notice the next frontal system moves to the northern plains, and then that stalled out boundary just sticking around central Florida and giving them their daily chances for showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. And then out towards the west, monsoon showers in the southwest with some heat. And we'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast. Notice the hot conditions in Phoenix at 106. Now let's turn up to Dylan with the very muggy, unsettled Florida.
The only part in the country, Michael, that has not seen the relief and will probably not see much of the relief is Florida, unfortunately. Pensacola, though, not too bad right now, 90 degrees, clear skies, but rain drenching the entire rest of the state because of that stalled out front end boundary. We're going to see that with our dew points as well. Only a bit of relief in Pensacola, 65. That's not too bad, but the rest of the state seeing low 70s, so not too great conditions. Not seeing that relief that a lot of the country has enjoyed. And our heat index, look at that, Miami, feeling like 103. It is just brutally hot. Gainesville feeling at a 72, but that's just because they've seen a bit of rain. And we can see on the map, you can kind of see where the front is. You see the northerlies kind of change into an west, or coming out of the west and then moving up into the north. So not too well defined anymore. So showing that that front has weakened. You can kind of see where it is right now. And as we zoom into Pensacola in that area, and Panama City seeing clear conditions. Most of the rain down south of Tallahassee sitting on the coast with that stalled out front. Moving out farther eastward, they're seeing a lot more rain into Jacksonville, parts of Gainesville as well. Just kind of a blanket of rain, not too severe storms, but again, some heavy rain showers kind of integrated into this frontal boundary. Down into central Florida, they're seeing some lighter rain, but still not great conditions. A lot of the rain, though, fading out as time goes on. Moving finally down to South Florida, well, they have not seen a lot of the rain. We saw that 103 heat index, and you see some showers kind of move its way out of Miami, so that heat is returning. Much of the Everglades, though, not seeing a bit of rain either, so not too bad for folks there. Though that tropical disturbance that I mentioned earlier, that low pressure system associated with that front has a 10% chance of development in 2 and 5 days. So not looking like anything much, but we did see on that rain chance map that a higher rain chance is situated for Gainesville and Jacksonville. That's due to the stalled out front and this low pressure system kind of moving off over in there, so they might see some higher rainfall values for the next couple of days. As we go into the next 24 hours, this front really weakens just a bit. Not seeing as intense rainfall sticking around for tomorrow, even into tonight as well, but still rainfall nonetheless engulfing the entire spine of Florida. As we look at tonight's forecast, rain sticking down the spine, some cooler temperatures embedded in that, 72 in Pensacola, not too bad. And then tomorrow, another rainy day for the spine of Florida, but then clear conditions and not too bad behind it. Now for our last local forecast, Michael's going to show us what we've got in store.
Yeah, there's a little dry spot I see on Florida. Let's zoom into that location, Tallahassee, where you see we've had a lot of clouds for majority of this Wednesday here. And that really limited our temperatures for the entire day. Only got up to 87 degrees, as you saw earlier. Right now we're at 85 under those mostly cloudy conditions. Now for the rainfall today, we didn't get any rainfall. The rain mainly stayed south and east of Tallahassee because that's where the frontal boundary is. So, but it is good. We're still above for the month, and we're getting closer to breaking that rainfall deficit for the year. Right around 8 inches below average compared to 12 inches below average back in June. So for the temperatures, you can notice how we've had a lot of the warmer temperatures off towards the north and west. They've had a little bit more sunshine with that drier air trying to infiltrate its way in. And then the cooler temperatures are down towards the south and east across the Big Bend because there's been a lot more rain coverage due to that stalled out boundary, 76 in Perry. The dew points, you can notice slightly drier air in our Georgia counties with dew points at 70 in Thomasville and Donaldsville, and then 69 in Valdosta, the only dew point just below 70. So it's progress somewhat. And then as we go down towards the Big Bend, more muggy air with dew points in the mid to upper 70s, 75 in St. Marks and Perry. Now the heat indices are pretty close to the air temperatures as you go into our Georgia county. That's where the drier air is starting to infiltrate its way in. But then the heat indices are a little bit higher compared to your air temperature in the Florida counties because the humidity and the dew points are still pretty high. And then with the winds, again, that shows you how the dry air is trying to infiltrate its way down towards our regions. You can notice it, again, northerly winds in the Georgia counties with the southerly winds coming off the Gulf down towards the Big Bend, especially with 8 miles per hour in Perry. Now with the southerly winds coming off the Gulf and with the stalled out boundary just sitting around Perry and Cross City, that's where we've had a majority of that rain coverage for today. You can see a lot of thunderstorm activity out towards Lake City, Cross City, and the I-75 corridor going down towards Gainesville. And you can notice that dry air starting to make its way down towards Tallahassee. The front is trying to make its way down. You can see down towards Houston as well. But Tallahassee trying to make its way down. And what it's going to do, it's going to get to Central Florida as we go into tomorrow, and that might give us some dry air and some slightly lower dew points. So for tonight, temperatures are going to be around 70 degrees with a 60% chance of rain before sunset. And so let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. You'll notice how the rain chances drop slightly, and those temperatures are going to remain cool in the upper 80s for this time of year, which is pretty nice. But then as we go into the weekend, into next week, that's when our typical summertime chances and temperatures return, with temperatures being in the mid to low 90s.